Most entrepreneurial content is gonna tell you wake up at 5 a.m., take cold showers, and read 50 books a year and grind until something happens. I tried all of that, but my business didn't grow because of any of it. It grew because of 5 specific habits, none of which you'll find on motivational posters. And I'm breaking every single one of them down today. My name is Nargis. I'm a founder from Uzbekistan. I built SSF Business Group. We help entrepreneurs and companies establish businesses and scale across UAE and GCC, licensing, banking, compliance, and HR. We handle all of that. When I started, I had no local network, no roadmap, no safety net. What I had was a willingness to figure things out the hard way, and eventually a set of habits that actually work. These are the 5. Habit number 1, protect your attention like it's your rarest asset. What I noticed, most entrepreneurs treat their calendars like it's a suggestion. They say yes to every call, every coffee, but protecting your attention is table stakes. Here's what most people don't realize: your attention isn't just valuable, it's finite. Every unprotected hour is just 10 minutes lost. It's the compounding cost of interrupted deep work. When I was building SSF Business Group, I started treating my calendar the way I treat my bank account. Every hour has value. Every unblocked slot is a withdrawal someone else is making on your behalf without asking. What I actually did, I blocked my mornings, non-negotiable. No calls before noon. Every hour was value. No messages before I'd done the one thing that moved the needle that day. One thing done first. Output doubled. Not because I worked more, because finally I worked on the right things without interruption. If you're constantly reactive, answering every ping is Now, those first 2 habits are mindset and attention. This next one is fully tactical, and it directly determines how fast your business grows in any relationship-based market. Second habit, make your outsider status your superpower. When I moved from Uzbekistan to Dubai, I felt like I was behind everyone. Everyone already knew someone. Everyone had years of context I didn't have. I was learning the market, the culture, the legal system, and the informal rules. And all at the same time, I was trying to build my company. I thought being an outsider was my biggest weakness. It turned out to be my biggest advantage. Here's why. No one talks about this. When you are an insider in a market, you have blind spots built in. You assume things work a certain way because they've always worked that way. You stop asking why, because you think you already know. When you are an outsider, you ask everything. I asked why the licensing process worked the way it did, why certain banking relationships were nearly impossible to establish for foreign founders, why so many international companies failed in UAE in their first year, even when they would succeeded everywhere else. Those questions, the ones an insider would have never thought to ask, became the foundation of SSF Business Group. We solved that problems. People who had been in the market for decades had stopped seeing as problems. Being foreign, being new, being the person in the room who doesn't know the unwritten rules, that is not a liability. When you lean into it, it becomes a research methodology. It's the beginner's mind that experienced people lose. If you are building in a market that isn't your home, stop apologizing for it. Your perspective is the product. Habit 3, build a relationship before you need the favor. Dubai and most of the GCC is a relationship-first business culture. This isn't just a cultural note, it's a business system. If you show up and immediately pitch, you lose. Consistently. The habit that changed everything for me was this: started giving before I needed anything. Introductions, information, connections to people who could help, even when it had nothing to do with my business. Consistently over a month before I ever asked for anything in return. When SSF Business Group needed a contact at a government office, I already had a relationship. When I needed a banking connection, someone trusted me enough to make the call. That's not luck. That's compounding social capital. Here is the practical version. Every week, make one genuine introduction or offer one piece of a real value to someone in your network with no ask attached, no pitch, no agenda. Just give. Do that for 12 months and you are operating in a completely different business. Here's one where it gets a little uncomfortable, because habit 4 is the one that ego gets in the way of, and the one that cost me the most time before I figured out it. Habit number 4, let rejection become your market intelligence. Every entrepreneur gets rejected. The difference is what they do with it. Most people treat rejection as a verdict. It isn't. It's data. When a client told me SSF Business Group wasn't what they were looking for, I used to feel it personally, like it was a judgment on me, not just a mismatch in what they needed. And then I started asking one question after every no: would you mind telling me why? 90% of the time people will tell you. And that feedback, honest, unfiltered, from someone who has no reason to be polite, is the most valuable market research you'll ever get. It's how we refined SSF's service, how we repositioned who we were actually for, how we stopped spending time on clients who were never a fit and started attracting ones who were. Rejection isn't the market saying no to you, it's the market telling you something. Your job is to listen. And the 5th habit is the one most people roll their eyes at until they're burnt out at least once. I learned this one the hard way. Habit 5, rest intentionally, not accidentally. Hustle culture has convinced a lot of founders that exhaustion is a proof that you are serious about your business. It isn't. It's a liability. When I was running on empty, managing clients, leading a team, chasing growth, my decision-making got slower, more reactive, less creative. I was making calls I'd later have to reverse. The business didn't need me working more hours. It needed me thinking more clearly. So I made rest non-negotiable, not as a reward for finishing everything, because you never finish everything, but as a part of operating system. Real rest, not scrolling at 11 p.m. Actually recovery, sleep, movement, time completely disconnected from the business. The counterintuitive truth: the hours when you are working are often what make the hours when you are working worth anything. A fatigued founder makes fatigued decisions, and fatigued decisions are expensive. So, the 5 habits that actually made a difference: 1. Protect your attention. Every unguarded hour is someone else's gain. 2. Make your outsider perspective your research methodology, not your weakness. 3. Build relationships before you need them. Give before you ask. 4. Treat rejection as market data. Ask why, then listen. 5. Rest isn't a reward, it's a part of the strategy. None of this came from a productivity app or a guru's course. They came from building a real business in a real market from scratch. And if you are building something in Dubai, London, or New York, or anywhere else, I want to know, which of these do you struggle with most? Drop in the comments. I read everyone. And if this was useful, subscribe. Every week I'm breaking down what actually works when building and scaling a business without the noise. See you in the next one.